The records keep falling for Apple, the stock hitting another all-time high today. And we now have a new #1 bull on the street. Wedbush's Dan Ives upping his price target on the stock to $350 a share. It's our call of the day. Ives saying 5G iPhones will drive a, quote, super cycle for Apple stock price over the next year. Those phones are expected to hit the market in September. Apple has already had an incredible 2019. This, though, implies another 25% upside.
Yeah,
so this makes sense to you?
Well, haven't we packed a super cycle into this stock since June when it's up 70%?
That's what I was asking people today on the half. So how much of that is already in this stock?
I think some. And even though everybody knows that the 5G story is supposed to be a 2H21 story, it's something they're allowed to price in. The thing that, look, I'm long Apple. I'm an investor in Apple. I don't think you need to trade it too hard. But when we talk about, it was easy for me to talk about in June before the stock made this move, and even in August, that you should be putting a blended multiple on the stock. You should value the hardware. You should value the services. People are now looking at the digital business, and they're looking at wearables. But at some point, at 20 times forward, this is not a stock that needs to re-rate that much more anymore. So I like Apple. I stay long. And this is not a knock on Dan Ives, by the way. Analysts have all been chasing themselves uphill on this one because they have to.
Remember this time last year, I mean, this stock has effectively doubled since this time last year. I mean, it was a $148 stock or so. Now you see where we are. To Tim's point, you know, if they're going to make close to $15 or so next year, you have a stock that's trading close to 20 times next year's numbers. That's probably a reasonable multiple for this company. Now, if people want to trip over themselves, that's fine. But, you know, we've talked about getting to 280 for a while now. Here we are. I think if you're buying it as a new position here, you're trading wrong, and I think you should start to be peeling out of this name at this point.
Scott, this is where you turn. Well, you could turn to Christian, or I thought you were going to turn to Joe. And
if you'd like to
host the show, we can flip out. I mean,
I've got an iPhone 7.
You want to switch seats?
What's your point? That you're ready for the upgrade?
Sure. Yeah. All right. So, Joe,
is America ready for that tie in the middle seat?
No, you're not stock picker. Hey, these are candy canes here, folks. Apple's impact in terms of the markets, in terms of the economy here.
A year ago, we were on the show. I was on the show. We talked about Apple, and the numbers weren't great because we're worried about China and the global economy. The U.S. consumer looks really good. So I would say just in general, you have to probably pick the space. But you have very high savings. Savings rate's 8%. You've got extraordinarily low debt service burden. Unemployment is 3.5%. A good chance it goes lower. Wages are rising. I think they're going to rise faster. Productivity might be picking up. I mean, in general, the things that people like to buy, you think are going to do pretty well against that type of backdrop. And consumers should have anything to pick up steam.
You got a price target?
What do you want it to be? 300, 220, no, 221. Just kidding.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever
Michael
it takes.
Keaton, by the way.
He looks a lot. Look at him. Doesn't he resemble Michael? I mean, a handsome version of Michael Keaton.
A Mr. Mom version or a Batman
Mr.
version?
Mom.
I mean,
I
which
could do
version
both.
are we talking?
I'm a Renaissance man guy. I could do both.